Please share with me your first, last name, where you're located, and the name of your business and or books you have written and anything else you've done.
Oh, wow. That's going to take a while then. So
Yeah.
I'm Michael. My name is Michael DeLon. I'm founder and president of Paperback Expert. I'm currently just south of Lexington, Kentucky, in a beautiful suburb. And books I've written. Well, the first one, the biggest one, the one that started it all, is on marketing. The definitive guide for small business owners. That book changed my life and really set me on trajectory for my vision for the future. Since then, I've written, I think, 7 or 8 other books, mostly around marketing for different verticals and things. But that is the book that started it all.
I love it. And it's called On Marketing. How long ago did you write that one?
I wrote that in 2013.
Nice, nice. Okay. And then 6 or 7 others?
6 or 7 others, usually for the verticals that we're in. So for financial advisors or attorneys and things of that nature.
Okay.
I wrote one for men to prepare their wives for the day that the husband dies.
Oh,
It's
wow.
called Walking with Your Widow. And there's a whole story behind that as well. But I wrote that about 3 years ago. And but anyway.
Yeah, that one that's very intriguing right there because
We can
that's
talk about that if you'd like. I'm happy to talk about that one.
it's just something that's rarely ever spoken about in that aspect, you know. I
You're
love
right.
that.
You're
Uh,
right.
for the name of the business, Paperback Expert. Please share with me. Tell us a little bit more what that means and what that is.
Sure. So we are a professional book publisher
Mhm.
for busy entrepreneurs. And our contention, our belief is that business owners are experts at what they do.
Mhm.
But there's so much competition and there's so many people doing what you do, whether you're an attorney or a financial advisor or a plumber.
Yeah,
How do you separate yourself from all of your competitors?
yeah.
And one of the best ways to do that is to become a published author. Because in our culture, experts have books. And
Mhm.
so we help busy entrepreneurs create a book without writing a word. And then we teach them how to use their book to gain clients, because then they are a paperback expert because they have a paperback book.
Yes, I love that. And I see a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, and even C-suite individuals are now writing books
Yes.
because they're experts in it. How did you get into this?
Hey, that's a great question. So I started my company after I escaped from prison.
Okay,
And so it wasn't a literal prison, okay? It was an emotional prison. So let me take you back a few years, okay?
please
So
do.
and this will take about 3 minutes, okay? But I'm going to tell you my whole story, and you're going to understand who I am, what I do, and why I do it.
Love
So first of all, I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. I've
it.
been I've been married to my wife Jill since 1990, and the first 5 years of our marriage were like this. Okay, we're complete opposites. And
Okay.
even though Jill and I both grew up in church, nobody ever taught us how to be married.
Yeah.
And so after 5 years of conflict, we went to a weekend to remember marriage conference that's
Mhm.
put on by a ministry called Family Life, part of Campus Crusade. And in that weekend, they shared with us God's blueprints for marriage. I didn't know he had blueprints. So we
Mhm.
grabbed his blueprints. We started applying them. Our marriage started getting better. This was in the 90s. Okay. In the
Okay.
90s, I was selling Christian radio in Indiana to local business owners.
Mhm.
And I found out after 2 years, nobody wants to buy Christian radio. They want to sell their products and services, right? So I had to get really good at marketing. So I followed the gurus and went to the conferences and read the books and understood how to do marketing for businesses.
Yeah.
During the 90s, that's what I was doing. We had 2 sons at that time. Then God led us out of Christian radio into a startup.com for about 2 years. And then that company went bankrupt because they were way ahead of their time. And I said, God, what am I supposed to do now? And
Yeah.
he said, Michael, I want you in a ministry to marriages, and I want you at Family Life, that ministry that changed our marriage.
Yeah.
I said, that's a great idea. Well, it's a missionary organization, so I had to raise my own support for 2 years, and we moved from Indiana down to Little Rock, Arkansas, joined the ministry of Family Life. They put me in the radio department of all things, which was great for me,
Yeah.
and I love that. climbed the corporate ladder. I was on the leadership team after about 6 years. And then they started going through corporate reorganizations.
Mhm.
And after the third reorganizational chart came out, my name was no longer on the leadership team. And so they shuffled me around the ministry to do different things. That began a 2-year, I call it a prison term, because I was in a job I hated
Yeah.
at a ministry that I loved.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
during our time at that ministry, we adopted 2 girls from foster care. And so we've got 4 children now. So after 2 years of being in prison, I got fed up. I said, God, I got to get out of this place. It's killing me.
Yeah.
And he said, what do you want to do, Michael? I said, well, I want to go help small business owners with marketing because they hate it. They struggle with it. And I love it. And he said, okay, go. So on January 1st of 2013, I escaped from prison.
Yes.
I left the ministry, started a marketing consulting firm. I'd come out to you, Javanka, and I'd say, I can help you grow your business. And you'd meet with me. We'd have a great conversation. And you'd say, Michael, this all sounds really good. Tell me, who else have you helped in the last few years?
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say, I've been building marriages and families at Family Life. And you'd say, that's so honorable, Michael. Way to go. Look at the time. I've got another meeting coming up, Michael. And you'd usher me out the door.
Yes.
You did not see me as a marketing guy. You saw me as a ministry guy.
Yes.
So you didn't hire me. I know I had to fix that.
Yeah.
So I went to my church one day. I paced the hallways back and forth. I said, God, how in the world do I help Javanka? Because I know I can.
Yeah.
And he gave me the idea. He says, Michael, take all of your ideas and put them in a book. And so I did. I wrote my first book on marketing back in 2013.
Yeah.
Then I would call you. I'd set an appointment. I'd mail a copy of my book to you. And a week later, I'd walk into your office for our meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
There it was. My book was on your desk, dog-eared, highlighted, underlined. You'd read my book.
Yes.
And in that meeting, you'd pick up my book. You say, now, Michael, in your book, you said, how did you do that?
Mm-hmm.
And hire me. And then you refer me to somebody and they'd hire me. I started gaining clients and I went, wait a minute, this is really cool. Why don't business owners do this for marketing? And this was back in 2013, right? This is almost a novel concept back then. Yeah. So I went and created a system. I looked at everything it took me to write my book and publish it. Okay. And I built a system that eliminated all of the barriers for business owners and created a company that today is Paperback Expert, where we help busy entrepreneurs, business owners, create a book without writing a word.
Yeah.
Then we make them Amazon best-selling authors to build their credibility. And then we teach them how to use their book in their marketing to gain more clients.
Wow.
There you go. That kind of gets you a ballpark of where I came from and why do I do what I do.
I love it. Like, I was so intrigued. I forgot I was on a podcast for a minute, Michael. I was like, this is good, yes. Because that's a whole different avenue. That's 100%. That's not a straight and narrow, blinders on. You said, if I'm going to think outside the box, I'm going to jump out the box.
Absolutely. Yeah. I gave up the box.
Yes. And so 2013 marketing was also definitely a little different as well as it is, right, right now. So, right. And to have that idea and to put that in, into play, I let me first say this, trusting God first.
Absolutely.
That he will guide you and get you exactly where you need to go. And just having that conversation, Michael, like we're talking now. Hey, God, what do you want me to do? Where are we going with this? And you follow it. And I will say that is a testimony of just saying, hey, you listen, and he'll hear it. He'll get you there.
He will. And well, thank you. But you also have to walk by faith, right? Because he didn't lay the whole plan out. He's like, okay, sure, go in that direction. Kind of like Abraham, right?
Yes.
Go. Well, where am I going, Lord? Go. Take a step, walk, learn. And so, yeah, he's been with us the whole time and still is. We're dependent on him.
I stand alongside of you as your sister in Christ, definitely.
Amen.
Yes. So when Paperback Expert came out and you decided to, do this, and you got all these clients and tell me about your vision. What were you doing going forward? Yeah.
So my vision has always been around family and giving. So my wife and I are big givers to the kingdom. And I mean, I obviously vision wise for marketing and business owners, I wanted to give them a platform to cut through the clutter of the marketplace and to be able to proclaim their message. Okay. So that's the vision of Paperback Expert, is to turn experts into authors who use their book to gain clients.
Got it.
That's kind of our driving force, because everybody has a story to tell.
Yeah.
Most of them are not telling it.
Yeah.
And most business owners have a process that works really well, but they don't share that until after you become a client. And so we kind of reverse engineer everything. And then from the standpoint of business, I mean, this is a family business. My eldest son, Caleb, is my chief operating officer. My wife is my bookkeeper. My other son works in the back end publishing. And we are building a generational business. So my plan is to hand this off to my son in the next 7-8 years. And I'll be chairman of the board or whatever you are after that. And we are consistently giving to the kingdom through the revenues that we generate now. And it's just going to get bigger as we grow. We give a percentage of top line revenue. Every dollar that comes in, part of it goes out. And that's part of who we are, because this is legacy for us. It's part of the dynamic of who we are as people and what God is using us to do to be a small part of his kingdom expansion.
I love that. I love that. And giving back what you'll give and you'll receive, and it's all in his timing. So I truly love that. So when someone's thinking about this, right? So for example, we used me earlier, Javanka. Hey, so I decide I'm an expert real estate agent and I want to make a book. What's the first step someone should take to turn their expertise into a book?
Yeah, call me and let's have a conversation. That's the obvious answer, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
The real process is to think about, what's your message? What are you trying to communicate to your audience? And then what you want to do is create a good theme for your book, a great title that's going to capture the attention of your audience and communicate your purpose.
Yeah.
And then you want to build the outline of your book.
Yeah.
And just do that on a Google Doc or whatever. And the fastest way to create your book, and I will tell you this is my counsel to everybody, Javanka, never write a book. What you want to do is you want to speak to write your book, because you can speak. You're a communicator, you're a thought leader, and you talk a lot faster than you type.
Yes.
And so you want to use Microsoft Word or Google Docs or something like that to record your content.
Yeah.
And then you can go back and edit it later or hire an editor. But you want to get the thoughts out of your head onto paper. So now you have something to work with. And that's exactly what we do. We just happen to have professional writers who interview you, and you get to speak very much like we're doing now about real estate. What is it? What are the 5 things every seller needs to know to sell their house for the highest price possible in the shortest time possible to get the most money for their? That's your chapter.
Yes. And it's interesting because when you do hear about writing a book, all you think about is typing, sitting in going to the mountains, with a big window, in this solitude with no family, and you're typing for months.
Yeah. Not the way to do it. Not the way to do it. Now, our whole process takes, when somebody works with us, it takes less than 24 clock hours of your time. We get your book published in 6 months, and time is of the essence for business owners. And Absolutely. We understand that. We've got a process that's just dialed in. It is slick, and we can help any expert create a book and get you to be a sought after thought leader in the eyes of your audience.
I love that. What are some of the challenges that business owners face when trying to write a book or to eat?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Most of them are mental challenges, right? Thinking, I don't have enough to say. I don't have enough experience to write a book. I don't know how to organize my thoughts. I don't know what to do with a book if I had one.
Yeah.
We take care of all of that. We answer every single one of those. We walk our clients from where you are today to being an Amazon best-selling author with a marketing game plan. And we know it works. We guarantee that you'll make money with your book.
And it's so interesting because business owners, especially small business owners, we tend to wear majority of the hats, right? So our minds isn't on anything outside of the box, right? Make sure you're marketing on social media. Make sure you're doing this. Make sure you're, kissing babies and giving hugs and, giving a free here, free there, And so it's as I mentioned before, this is definitely something completely different because as you mentioned, when you made that appointment, your book was sitting on the desk
Right.
highlighted.
Right.
So it's definitely a different avenue, but I love the fact that you and your team will take the thoughts of a business owner and say, hey, we can make this happen. How
Yeah.
many books have you published?
Oh, that's a great question. We're probably past 600 or 700 by now. I stopped counting a long time ago. Yeah, we've been doing it since 2013, and we publish a number of books every year. So,
Wow.
yeah.
And all of this and all of what you do was one of your most significant learning experiences?
To keep my thumb on the marketing. Okay, so we
Mhm.
hired a number of years ago. We hired an outside marketing consultant because we were wanting to grow our business, and we kind of delegated everything to that consultant. And what happened is we were paying his fee, and he was creating advertising and marketing, which didn't produce the results that we were looking for.
Yeah.
And what happened is we started running out of money because we were spending and it wasn't working, and we were delegating everything.
Yeah.
And so I had to go back to prison for a few months. I laid myself off of my own company, went and got a job to keep the company afloat. And so for us, it's not delegating, or no, not relegating marketing. We delegate. We still have vendors that do marketing for us, my
Yes.
son and I, but we are overseeing it all. So don't relegate your marketing, but you can delegate it as long as you as the CEO are overseeing it and guiding and directing it.
Wow. Okay. So, and that's your expertise is
It is.
marketing. You've
It
been
is.
doing it since 2013. So, what was the thought process when you decided to hand it over to a consultant?
Yeah, well, we knew that we needed to grow, and like you just said, business owners have how many hats do we wear every day,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so we're wearing so many hats, and we knew we weren't focusing on marketing, and so we thought we'd bring somebody in who could focus on that, so that we could get the other pieces and parts of our business up and running, and sometimes that works. Like,
Yeah.
we've got a great marketing partner right now that helps us in the marketing because they are executing on our plan as part of our team, even though it's an outside company.
Yeah.
But Caleb and I are on top of it. We meet with them every week. We make sure that the messaging is correct. So we didn't relegate it. We are delegating it.
Yeah.
Okay. But we've grown the business enough now that we've got other people doing things in the business. Because as a small business owner, you're right. You're doing so many things. And most business owners, they're not schooled in marketing.
No. Mm-mm.
And therein, if you don't know how to market your business, that is the lifeblood. That is the heartbeat that's going to cause your business to grow or not. Dan Kennedy, one of my mentors from years ago, said, you've got to be a better marketer of your thing, whatever your thing is, than you are a practitioner of your thing. Okay. The best plumber in your city may not be the best marketer.
Yeah. True.
So the best marketer is going to get more money. He's going to get more clients.
Yeah.
And you've got to understand marketing.
Yeah. It seems like that's just really the core of a business, is marketing now, especially due to social media, how things are marketed nowadays. I think that might be one of as a small business owner myself, I think that's a challenge, if you're good at one thing and marketing's not your thing, well, you had it all. Like you had
No. I just happen to have the marketing side. I brought my son in to build the back end of the business and the processes and systems. But on the marketing side, let's camp there real quick. Here's one of my marketing philosophies. Devanka, people buy who you are.
Yes.
More than what you do. So if you're in real estate, right? How many realtors are there in your community? Probably 1,000.
Yes.
How does somebody choose a realtor if they don't have a relationship? Therein lies the issue. They need a relationship. How do you build a relationship with, let's say, a seller? Let's say you're going out on a listing appointment.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to bring your nice little brochure and all the stuff just like everybody else does.
Yeah.
How about you send them a copy of your Amazon best-selling book a few days before you arrive?
Yeah.
And it tells your story of who you are.
Yeah.
And how you've helped other sellers successfully exit their home profitably without the stress and the headaches.
Yeah.
And then when you show up, you're different. You're in a category of one.
Yes.
That changes the dynamic of you and that seller.
Yep.
Because you're not now trying to get their business. They're sitting here going, I wonder if I'm good enough to be her client.
Mm-hmm.
You've
Mm-hmm.
preconditioned them to hire you before you ever meet. That's just one little strategy that we teach our clients of how do you use your book to gain clients. You send it ahead of you.
Yeah.
And then after okay, then you sell a house, right? And the buyers come into the house, and you give them some nice gift at closing or whatever. How about saying, hey, John and Molly, thank you so much for allowing me to serve you to get your dream home. It's amazing. I know you're going to be showing it off in the next few weeks to all of your friends and your family. Would you do me a favor? And they're going to say yes, because they love you, because you just got them. Would you take 5 or 6 copies of my book and just lay them around your house? And when people are coming over talking about your house, would you just hand them a copy of my book and say, here's the lady we trusted. She was amazing. Realtor. If you ever need a house, you should read her book and just give her a call. Would you do that for me? And they'll say, well, I'd love to do that. Now you're starting to get referrals from your happy clients.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's 2 strategies right there that are super simple when you're an author.
Yes. Yes. And very unique. Very, very, very unique. And it's so, I truly love this conversation and everything that you're doing, Michael. And I have one question before you go, and it's my most favorite question. What are the greatest joys of what you do?
Oh, wow. There are so many. But honestly, the greatest joys of what I do in business is when I talk with clients who have followed my strategies and it actually works. And they're going, this stuff actually works, right?
Yeah.
We had one quick story at Lynn Godfrey. She's a financial advisor up in Canada, published her book, made her a best-selling author. And she's like, okay, what do I do now? And we said, do you have a database? You have people who've raised their hand, they're following. She's like, yeah, 580 people. Great. Send them an email. Don't buy my book. I want to give you a free copy of my new book. And she had about 80 people say, yes, send me a copy. Out of those 80, she ended up gaining 6 clients, made over $75,000 within 6 weeks. And that's what fires me up, because I know it works when my clients do what I tell them to do. It just changes their life and the lives of their clients. That's what fires me up.
Thank you for being here today. I'm really happy that you tuned in to Vision Pros Live. I'm looking forward to seeing your reactions as these episodes continue to move forward. This is going to get more and more fun. We'll have more and more engagement as well. We'll invite people to participate in the show. And thank you for giving us your time and attention. Have an excellent time building out your vision and becoming a Vision Pro yourself.